shit about Dave too. You know, Dave Chappelle. I mean, crazy on every anywhere.
They didn't listen to what he said.
Shalom Israel. We're going to get started in just 1 minute. All right, Shalom Israel. Y'all Bashim Yahushua Barakatham. Yahweh Shamar Latham Bashim Yahushua. I'm Priest Officer Parak, holding down the Thursday Scripture Breakdown class for the ISUPK out of Arizona. All right, today we're going to pretty much jump right on into it. Before I get started, though, of course, like I always like to do at the very bottom of the screen, you can see our weekly class schedule as well as our class location, all right? Tuesdays through Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. And every Saturday we have our Sabbath service from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, all right? All right, so like I said, we're going to pretty much jump right on into it. What we're going to go over today is the biblical understanding of faith, all right? Of course, the understanding of faith is a concept that everybody gets wrong, okay? And what I mean by that is this, right? In the Christian church, faith is something that is spooky and magical, and that's what gets you saved, to, for lack of a better term, because the Christians say this, to be able to go to heaven, right? To be able to go to heaven, you have to have faith in Christ, have faith in the Most High, and that's it. That's your key and your ticket to heaven, right? In the ISUPK, we understand that faith is only part of what's necessary for you to receive salvation, right? Because anybody can have faith, right? Anybody can have faith in Jesus Christ. White people claim to have faith in Jesus Christ all the time, right? Does that mean that they deserve a ticket to heaven? Is that what that means? That means they should be in those same people whose forefathers murdered and raped your ancestors and your forefathers. They deserve to be in heaven because they got faith. We're gonna go over it, right? We're gonna get a real breakdown. Every Christian goes into Hebrews the 11th chapter and says, this is what faith is. Substance of things hoped for, right? The evidence of things not seen. That's what they say, right? But we're going to go into that chapter and we're going to break it down. Now, before I do that, give me James, the second chapter, all right? I want everybody I want this to be the on the forefront of everybody's mind when we talk about faith. Because this right here, I could bring this scripture out in James, the second chapter, and kill all of the Christianity that is behind the term faith. I can do that right here. We can end the class, and that's it. But I'm going to read this just to preface this class, and then we'll go on into Hebrews the 11th chapter and break down what faith really means. All right? Give me James 2 and 14.
Come. Book of James, chapter 2, verse 14. What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works?
So James is asking an excellent question. It's the question that we've been asking since 1969. What does it profit you if a man say that he has faith but doesn't have works? Now, I think it's very common that everybody knows that in the Bible it says faith without works is dead, right? So James he's going to go a little bit more in depth to it, right? He's asking the question, what does it profit you though a man say he have faith but does not have works? Go ahead.
Can faith save him?
Now, that's a rhetorical question because he's going to answer that question himself. Can faith save you? And that's a question that every Christian should ask themselves. Does your faith in Jesus Christ save you? Because that's what they're going to tell you does. They're going to tell you that their faith in Jesus Christ saves them. That's what they're going to tell you, right? This is the perfect scripture to pull on that. Why? Because this is James, this is James, a brother that was entrusted to write an entire book in this Bible, right? And he's asking you a question that he's about to answer for you. Can faith save you? Go ahead.
Verse 15. If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of daily food,
Uh-huh.
and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warmed and filled.
So now watch this, right? So now this is what this is saying. Imagine a brother or a sister, right? They're naked, meaning they don't have clothing. That doesn't mean they're naked, the ass naked, right? But it might be wintertime and they don't have a cloak or a jacket to wear, right? So they're shivering and cold and halfway dead, right? And they're destitute of their daily food, meaning they're hungry. They're going hungry, right? And you tell them, this is what you tell them because of your faith. You tell them, depart in peace, meaning leave away from me in peace, right? And be warmed and be filled, meaning leave, get away from me, and you'll be clothed and you'll get food, right? Keep going.
Okay. Notwithstanding, ye give them not those things which are needful to the body.
So notwithstanding, you don't give them the things that you just said for them to have faith for. You told them, listen, get away from me and be ye filled, have food, right? Be warm, have clothing, right? But you don't give them the clothing and you don't give them the food. Where do you expect them to get that food and that clothing from? Keep going.
What doth it profit?
What doth it profit? What is your faith that, you know what, the Lord is going to give them some clothes? I just know it. I just know that the Lord is going to give them clothes and give them food and they'll be filled and they'll be warm. What does that profit them? I'm going to, of course, this is another rhetorical question. I'll answer it for you. Absolutely goddamn nothing. Imagine this brother coming here or another brother coming here and say, man, listen, I haven't eaten in 3 days. I feel like I'm about to die. Hey, brother, Lord be with you. Go home. Go home and the Lord is going to give you some food. Is that how the Lord works? The scriptures say this. The scriptures say when it's in your hand, or excuse me, when it's within your power to help somebody, help them. I mean, don't hold back your hand from them. If you got food, if you got money for food, give them the money for food. If you have money for them to go get a goddamn jacket from Goodwill for $10, give them $10 to go to Goodwill and get a jacket, man. So they don't have to be out here in this cold. Or give them the jacket. I got a jacket on right now. If a brother really needed one, I'd give it to him. You get what I'm saying? That's what true faith looks like. That's true faith in the Most High. But the faith that a lot of these people have is the faith that we read about right here. Oh, brother, I hope the Lord blesses you. I have faith the Lord is going to bless you with a jacket and food. We cannot think like that. And James is calling you stupid. He's really, that's what he's doing here. He's calling you out. He's making you realize, damn, that don't make much sense. Do it. Keep reading.
Okay. Verse 17. Even so, faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone.
Listen, man, faith by itself is dead if it's alone, because it doesn't have the works that go with it. This is what the Bible is about. The Bible is about balance. Anybody ever seen a scale where you have two sides of it? What do they call those scales? They call them scales.
Libra scale?
Is that what it's called? The one where they got the two.
Yeah, I think that's the Libra scale.
Whatever the hell it's called. Whatever. Yeah, I think that is what it's called, a Libra scale. But point being is, right. You ever seen them scales where they got the one side and this side right here? And so what they would do is they would put, if you want to weigh something compared to 1 pound or 10 pounds, right? On this side, they would put a 10-pound block right here. And then you put something else on this side to weigh it down to see how much it weighs in comparison to that 10 pounds on the other side. What the Lord likes is for there to be 10 pounds here and 10 pounds here. The Lord likes balance. That's what the Lord likes. That's what the scriptures say. The Lord loves a just balance, right? Faith and works go hand in hand. That's the balance, right? Because if you have too much faith and not enough works, then the faith is dead by itself. That's what we just read, right? That's what we just read out of the Bible, out of the book of James, right? But if you have too much works and not enough faith, then the works is dead too. It's the same thing. It goes hand in hand. They have to be equal with each other, right? Those two cannot be unequally yoked, right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works.
So they say a man might say, yeah, you have faith and I got works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works, right? This is what you have to understand. You have to be able to prove your faith. The scriptures say this all the time. The Most High requires this of us all the time. We have to prove our love for the Most High. Just like how a woman says, you know, if you truly love me, prove it. That's how the Lord works, and that's how you work too, even if you don't understand it, even if you don't realize it. You work the exact same way. For you to understand and know that somebody actually loves you, they got to prove it. Because if a nigga come up and tell you, you know, I mean, a lot of us come from the streets, man. If a nigga tell you he love you, this, that, and the third, but he's constantly going behind your back, talking to your women, stealing from you, plotting behind your back, the words don't mean nothing, right?
It's like when the brothers. I remember this brother was telling me a little bit about his story. Right? His brother was telling me how, you know, he had money, he had everything, right?
Right.
Everybody was around him, but as soon as he went to jail, it's like nobody was around. So
right.
As soon as he came out, 5 years later, he comes out, right? But people come around, and say, hey, yo, such and such. Hey, what up, baby? What's going on?
Right.
And then now he's like, nah. He's like, don't come at me with that energy, because where were you guys
when I was right?
Yeah, when I was locked up.
Right. That's what Christ asked. Christ asked the same question. Go ahead.
Right. It really ain't no love, or ain't no compassion, ain't no friendship, ain't no real. Because really, when I had it, you guys were there. But when it was time for you guys to be there for me, where were you guys?
Right.
So that's like, it's like kind of like the works. The works isn't there. I do so much for you guys, but it's like, where you at?
Right. And that's the thing, and we can relate that directly to the Bible, right? Because of course Christ said the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When I was jailed up, where was y'all at? You know what I'm saying? And of course, they was like, well, when were you ever jailed up? What did Christ say? When my brothers was jailed up and you neglected them, you were neglecting me too.
Yeah. It's like when I was naked and hungry, where did you feed me? Did you come to visit me?
Right.
So it's like, it's basically the same thing. And what's crazy about that is that Christians say they with Christ the whole time. They scream it, and they it's like a repetition.
Right.
And not only that, but it's like they say so much, but really, where's the keeping the commandments at?
Right.
Where's the where's the grace? Where's the time period to get right? Why are you sacrificing, or why are you basically sacrificing Christ again and again,
right,
for your sins,
right?
As you think it is really, but really you should, when you hear the words, right? When you hear the truth, you should get it right.
Right.
There should be no another excuse, right? Another loophole, or somehow, some way to worship, Christ in your own way, personally.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and that's their faith, because they got faith in Christ. They got faith that Christ loves them no matter what, unconditionally, which is, of course, against the Bible. They got all types of faith. But when it comes time for them to hear the words that we speak and to hear the truth, when the Bible says that faith without works is dead, and that you must do things, you must keep these laws, statutes, and commandments with an action, they're not willing to do those works. So the faith that they have is canceled out automatically, right? Let's keep going.
Verse 19. Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well.
Listen, man, you believe there's one God? You do well. That's a good thing that you believe that there's one God. Keep going.
The devils also believe.
Who?
The devils also believe.
The devils also believe. Go ahead.
And tremble.
And tremble. They're afraid of the Most High too. They got the fear of the Lord too. The devils also believe. So listen, man, the belief is half of the battle. What are you doing? That's the point. What are you doing to serve God? Right? Once again, your faith without your works is dead. So that faith means nothing, because the devils also believe. They also got the faith. And they tremble. They're afraid of the Most High and the Most High's judgments. They're afraid of the... Listen, man, they read the book of Revelation. They are afraid of the book of Revelation. All of the blood that's going to be shed upon the face of this planet. They are afraid of that. Does that mean that they can be saved too? That's what James is saying here. You putting yourself, if you just got faith, you putting yourself on the same level as a devil, man. If you just have faith, faith is nothing compared to, faith is nothing without works, right? Keep going.
Come on, verse 20. But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
He asking you again. Will you know that faith, oh vain man, you so goddamn, that's our people, man. He's talking about us, a vain people. That's what we are. We are a vain people. Why? Because what is vanity about this whole thing that we're talking about here? The vanity is the faith that you have. That's vanity. Vanity is for nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Faith is nothing if it's not coupled with works. Because that works, that's not vanity. That's a thing. That's an action. That's a real thing there. Coming to class, that's an action. You get what I'm saying? Being humble and submitting to authority, that's action. Taking, instead of, doing the things that you want to do on your Saturdays, you coming out for camp. That's action. For you sisters, instead of you doing whatever the hell you want to do and having sex with everything that moves, come and cook for the brothers, man. Learn how to sew. Become virtuous. And sew your brothers up some garments, man. You get what I'm saying? Not saying that every sister has to do that. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, do something. Prove to the Lord that you actually give a damn about him. When you just condense it down into the main point, just keep the law, statutes, and commandments, man. That's it. Because it's hard, man. It is hard. The scriptures say that the law is not grievous, and it's not. It's not grievous at all. But coming out of the world and coming into the law, that is a hard thing. That's a hard thing. A lot of people have demons on them that are almost inescapable. You get what I'm saying? Demons that it's like damn near, it's just impossible. But like the scriptures say, not like the Christians say it, but like the scriptures say, you can do all things that through Christ that strengtheneth you. You can escape those demons, and instead of you just having faith, yeah, God's gonna be cool with me because I pray every night. God's gonna be cool with me because every time I eat, I bless the food. You get what I'm saying? That's not why God's gonna be cool with you. God still hates you because you're wicked. God's gonna be cool with you and love you if you keep his commandments. That's how he's gonna love you. And that's an action. And that's the works that need to be coupled with that faith, right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 21. Was not Abraham, our father, justified by works?
Now, listen, we're going to get into an example now. We're going to get examples out of this whole chapter. That's why I said I want to break this good. This chapter is excellent, right? Was not Abraham, like our father, justified by works? Go ahead.
When he had offered Isaac, his son, upon the altar?
Listen, man. Abraham was justified by his works, not by his faith. Not because he said, oh, Lord, I'll do whatever you want. And then when the Lord asked him to do something, he didn't do it. When the Lord asked him a hard thing, the Lord asked him to do a hard thing. What did he do? He did the thing, right? That's what it said, because he said he offered Isaac, his son, upon the altar, right? We'll get that story in just a second. Keep going.
Verse 22. Seest thou hath faith wrought with his works? And by works was faith made perfect.
That's why I say it's a balance, man. It's a just balance. That's the way the Lord wants it. The Lord wants it. He doesn't want just faith. He doesn't want just works. He wants both coupled together. That's why the scripture just says, seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was his faith made perfect. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And the scripture was fulfilled, which saith, Abraham believed God, and was imputed unto him for the righteous.
Listen, man, the scripture was fulfilled, which said Abraham believed God. How was it shown that Abraham believed God? By his works, because his works justified his faith. They go hand in hand. Keep going.
And he was called the friend of God.
He was called the what?
The friend of God.
The friend of God. God damn. Imagine being called the friend of the Most High Power, the Almighty. Imagine being called the friend of him. All it takes, it's not hard. All it takes is just to do whatever the hell he tells you to do. Y'all look at that thing like that's just, you can't be like Abraham. That's what the Christian church taught you, man. The Christian church taught you that you can't be like Abraham, like you can't be like Christ. You can be just like them because you can do exactly what they did. Now, the Lord might not come to you in a goddamn dream and tell you to, offer up little Johnny, your son, right? But the Lord came to you in this book, man. He came to you in this book and he told you, listen, keep my law, statutes, and commandments, that your days may be long upon the land that I give you. That's what the Bible says. So keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you could be a friend of God too, man. You can do that. How about that? Keep going.
Verse 24. Ye see then how that by works a man is justified.
That by what?
That by works a man is justified.
Works is what justifies you, man. That's what justifies you in the sight of the Most High. Keep going.
And not by faith only.
And not by faith only. Give me Genesis, the 22nd chapter. We're going to read that story, all right? We're going to read that story. Listen, we got to understand this about, about the truth, right? Being in the truth, we have to prove all things. That's what the book of 1 Thessalonians says. You get what I'm saying? We have to prove all things. Now, the Christians say that you can just have faith in the Lord, and that's what gets you salvation. We're going to prove out of the Bible that you must do things. You must make sacrifices. Not necessarily literal sacrifices like on the altar, but sacrifices meaning you might have to do things that inconvenience you. You might have to make a sacrifice in your life. You get what I'm saying? Because that's what the Lord is going to require of you. Now, of course, that sacrifice to somebody else might be easy. It might be easy for other people. Like for me, it was easy for me to not eat pork. Like, okay, I just don't eat. I used to love, I'll tell y'all this. I used to love sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffins from McDonald's. Used to love them. I used to love the McGriddles with the sausage on them. I used to love them. But it wasn't such a big deal to me to where when I found out I couldn't eat it no more, it was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? When I found out I couldn't eat it anymore, it was like, okay, all right. That's it. This is what we're doing. I'm not eating that pork anymore. Now, to somebody else, it's like, damn, I can't give up, pork. I love bacon. So many Christians, I know, when we be out there at camp, a lot of these cats, or when you see some of these camp videos online, they be like, give up bacon. Nah, see, I love what y'all talking about. I love it. I love that y'all preach the Bible. I love everything y'all saying. You telling me I can't? God wants me to change my diet? I can't have bacon? Nah, I'm gonna eat my bacon. And that seems crazy to us because we in here, but when you really looking from the outside looking in, it's like they're really vexed by that one thing. And that's the demon that's on them. Go ahead.
Like, and it's funny about the whole bacon thing. It's like people only approve it. You're not eating bacon if it's like, oh, I don't eat bacon because I'm allergic or it messes with me and I just can't eat it. They're like, right. Oh, okay, that's cool. Right. The second you say God said you can't eat bacon, right? You can't eat pork. I don't know about that. That's
that demon in them, man. That's that demon in them that wants them to die. Because the demon, like listen, the demon, like a demon's whole purpose is to kill you. That's it. So if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, that's death. We heard Moses say that, right? We all know when Moses said that, right? So they don't want you to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and they definitely want you to have that high blood pressure that's coming with all that pork that you eating. People say that can happen. Of course, you can get high blood pressure from anything. You can get heart disease from anything, right? You can get it from just any red meat. You can get it from, beef, right? But pork is the number one, or pig or swine or whatever you want to call it, is the number one contributor when it comes to foods to heart disease and diabetes, or not diabetes, heart disease and high blood pressure. That's the number one meat that causes all of those diseases. You get what I'm saying? Why? Because the Lord, of course, told you not to eat the thing. So, just don't eat it. Eat everything else. Eat. Listen. Anyway, let me shut up because I'm gonna start talking about how much I love lamb and how much I love bison. Bison. Y'all ever had a bison burger? You know why I eat bison burgers today? Because I got faith and it's coupled with works. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I decided I'm not going to eat pork. I'm gonna make that bison burger and eat that bison burger. So like it. Y'all should try it if you have not. Give me Genesis 22:1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 22, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of.
Right. So this is the Most High tempting Abraham, right? So like it. As the Most High telling Abraham, listen, get up. What I want you to do is I want you to take your son, your only son Isaac, which at the time it wasn't even his only son, but it's the son of the covenant, the son of the promise, right? And take him into the land of Moriah and offer him there for a burnt offering, meaning set him on fire, kill him. That's what the Lord told Abraham to do. Keep going.
Verse 3. And Abraham rose up early in the morning.
And Abraham did what?
Rose up early in the morning.
And Abraham said, excuse me?
And Abraham rose up early in the morning.
And Abraham said, Salaki, sir, but I don't think that's right.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning.
Listen, man, Abraham didn't say a goddamn thing to the Most High. You know what Abraham did? He rose up early in the morning. You know what he did? What the book of Deuteronomy tells you to do. Make haste to keep these commandments. That's what he did. He woke up early in the morning. Go ahead.
And saddled his ass.
And he saddled his ass. He saddled his donkey up to get ready so he could take his son out there to sacrifice him, to kill him. Go ahead.
And took 2 of his young men with him.
And he took 2 of his young men as servants with him, right? Go ahead.
And Isaac his son. And clave the wood for burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him.
See, this is, old heads say this. He didn't give the Lord no lip. That's what he didn't do. He didn't say, but wait a minute. I thought we didn't do human sacrifices. He didn't do none of that. He didn't say, wait a minute, that's my son. How am I going to give my son up? He didn't do none of that. The Lord told Abraham what to do. Abraham went to hell to sleep, woke up in the morning early in the morning, right? Early in the morning, got up, saddled up his ass, got everything ready, got his son with him and got his 2 servants with him. And they said, listen, let's go. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 4. And then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass. And I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you.
Right. So he said, listen, he told the 2 young men, he said, listen, y'all stay right here. All right, y'all stay right here. Stay with this donkey. I'm gonna take my son up here and handle some business. Y'all just stay right here. I'll come back. Go ahead.
Now come on, verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto his father, to Abraham his father, and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? So
Isaac is telling his father, right? He's saying he's going up there with his father to this place where he's about to sacrifice something, right? And Isaac knows the customs of Israel. It wasn't Israel at the time, but he knows the customs, right, of the Lord's chosen people. And he knows that the Lord requires sacrifices at times, right? And so Abraham takes his son up there to offer that sacrifice. And Isaac is like, okay, I understand, we up here for a sacrifice. That's fine, but we got wood, and we got everything else we need, but where's the lamb? Where's the lamb that we're going to sacrifice? Right? Keep going.
Verse 8.
It's kind of fishy. You think about it, right? You think about it, hey, listen, we up here for it. So we done left the 2 young men down there with the donkey, and we took, the wood and everything that we need up here. Where the hell is the lamb that we're going to sacrifice? Keep going.
Verse 8. Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And that's what Abraham told his son. He said, the Lord is going to provide the lamb. Now, at the time, Abraham thought that lamb was going to be his son. That's what he thought. He thought that lamb, that sacrifice was going to be his son. He didn't want to break it to his son like that. He didn't want to break it to his son like, listen, man, you going on that fire. I'm about to burn your ass up. That's what he didn't want to tell his son that, right? So he said the Lord is going to provide that sacrifice, right? Go ahead. Verse 9. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. Yeah, and that's what, then of course, then what I'm saying, Abraham bound his son up, put him on that wood. You get what I'm saying? And the way that this is kind of also what shows you how to properly it's like this also shows you that the Lord had given us an oral law before the time of Moses, because this is how you properly sacrifice animals, right? When you sacrifice for instance, like what the scriptures say that you're supposed to sacrifice a turtle dove, or when you're supposed to sacrifice a bullock, which is a bull, you don't just throw him into the fire while he's alive. You cut his throat,
You let him die, and then you put him on the fire, right? When the average person would just say, okay, you want to sacrifice, I'm gonna just throw this nigga or this animal or whatever on the fire, right? Abraham already knew how to sacrifice because there had already been an oral tradition of the law, right? Just a sidebar, right? But that's what Abraham was getting ready to do. He was getting ready to slit his son's throat so that way he could sacrifice him and burn him up, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10. Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad.
Mm-hmm.
Neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know.
For what?
For now I know.
For now I know, right? That's what the thing is, right? Keep going.
That thou fearest God.
Listen, man. This is what the Lord did to him. He proved him. He proved that because now, if you know anything about the book of Genesis, right? We're in Genesis, the 22nd chapter. Prior to this, Abraham was already favored by God, and Abraham favored God. But prior to this, Abraham hadn't really been tested like that. But Abraham has said so many times, I'm going to serve you, God. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, bow down to you, all of that. That's faith. But what the Lord required of him to know that now I know that you love the Most High, he had to do works. That's what he had to do. He had to take his son up. He had to go on a goddamn mission to some faraway land and hike up a damn mountain with his son and damn near almost sacrifice his son, kill his son, his most loved son, to prove to the Lord, yeah, no, this nigga down here, he loved me. He loved me, right? And he fears me. That's what he had to do to prove it. The faith wasn't enough, and it's never been enough. And I want everybody to understand that. Christians should understand, everybody in here should understand that. Faith has never been enough for you to gain for you to truly obey the Most High, right? Keep going.
Come. Seeing that thou not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me.
Yeah, that's how I knew. Keep going though. I'm gonna read this next one just for a teaching point. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold him, a ram caught in a thicket by his horns.
Yeah, so now he look up, and this ram got caught in these bushes, right? Got caught in the bush. You never seen a ram. It's got the ram, it got the horns, all swirly and all of that. He got caught up in this bush, right? Go ahead.
And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
In the what?
In the stead of his son.
Right, in the stead of his son. STEAD, which means in the place of his son. Right, instead of his son getting sacrificed, just like what Abraham said, the Lord will provide a lamb, but the Lord provided a ram. You get what I'm saying? And he was able to sacrifice that ram. So now that just kind of goes to show you that if you have the faith plus the works, the Lord is going to reward you for that. You get what I'm saying? The Lord will reward you for that. And his reward was not having to kill his son, but giving him a ram to kill. You get what I'm saying? To be able to sacrifice. Let's take it to Hebrews 11 now. We're going to get into it. I know that was kind of a long intro, but it was necessary because I think a lot of people look at faith. Well, I know. A lot of people look at faith as, some mystified, spooky thing where you could just, feel a certain way. That's what people think love is too. People think love is, feeling a certain way, right? 1 John 5:3 tells you that love is what?
Like I know I just read it too.
You got
the love of God is to obey His commandments.
To keep His commandments, right? For the commandments are not grievous, right? So that's what true love is keeping the commandments, which means what? Love is an action, right? Leviticus 19:17 tells you that you should not hate your brother in your own heart, but thou shalt in any wise rebuke him. Why does the scripture say that? Because that's true love. True love requires action. You're gonna tell your brother what's right and what's wrong, and you're gonna tell him you cannot, you can't be this way. You can't do the things that you've been doing, which is what we do every single week when we go out to camp, every single day when we teach these classes, right? By action, we are telling our brothers, you cannot do this, right? And that's true faith, right? So now let me get Hebrews 11. Let's read verse 1.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
So now this is the definition of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Let's break that down. What is the substance of things hoped for? Explain that to me, Yak. What is how is faith the substance of things hoped for?
Means, there's no, like, I don't put it that way. I don't say for things, substance of things hoped for means it's like, I don't know how to put it.
What substance?
Substance is like putting away to something that you not gain.
It's simple. It's simple. Think about substance. Think about it. It's simple. It's not rocket science. It's simple. It's real simple. What's substance? You could even look up the definition. You could even look up like substance is that's the you really want to be able to break it down to the T. You get what I'm saying? If faith is the substance of things hoped for, you got to be able to explain that. You got to be able to explain, because Paul was able to explain it, right? He said the thing. He came up with this, right? We got to be able to explain it too when people have questions, because I'm sure many people had questions for Paul. What's substance?
The definition of substance. The real physical matter of which a person.
The real what?
Physical matter.
That's all we need. I don't need the rest of that garbage. Merriam-Webster dictionary. I don't need it. The real physical matter. So what does that mean? What is substance?
Physical matter.
Physical matter. What can you do with physical matter? What's physical matter in this room? Everything, right? This microphone is physical matter. This horn right here is physical matter. This cup, physical matter. What can I do to these things? I can see them. I can look at them. I can touch them. I can feel them, right? I can smell them. I got some good whiskey in here. I can smell that, right? These are all things that are physical that are here. They're what's called tangible, right? So that's substance. But faith is the substance of things hoped for. What do we hope for in the ISUPK?
The kingdom.
The kingdom. Is the kingdom here? Can we look around and see black people ruling? Besides, of course, just disclaimer, right? I don't want nobody drilling me, right? The kingdom is also within us, right? But I'm talking about the physical kingdom of heaven that we'll be walking on with the streets paved of gold one day. Is that here?
Awesome.
But that we hope for, right?
Come.
So we hope for those things. How do we know it's going to happen?
We don't.
We can't. I mean, not necessarily, right? Because we can't. It's not tangible. We can't touch. You know what I'm saying? We can't touch the pearly gates or the gates made out of pearl. We can't walk on the streets made of gold. We can't do any of those things, right? So why do we believe in it? There's only one answer. Because you got faith. That's the perfect answer. You get what I'm saying? Because we have faith, which is the substance of things hoped for. Keep going.
The evidence of things not seen.
And the evidence of things that are not seen. We don't see the kingdom. And every day when we when we leave out of these doors, we see the evidence of what?
Our kingdom not here yet.
We see the evidence that our kingdom is not here and that Esau's kingdom is up. Why? Because across the street, that bus stop is full of crackheads that are our people most of the time. You get what I'm saying? We see that what's going on in this nation is not of the Lord. That's the evidence of things that we can see. We can see those things. But faith is the evidence of things that we cannot see. How do we know the kingdom is going to come? Once again, the answer is faith. That's how we know the kingdom is going to come. And we have evidence of the kingdom, even though it's not here. Right? Keep going.
Verse 2. For by it the elders obtained a good report.
Who are the elders? The elders are Abraham. The elders are Isaac, Jacob. The elders are Noah. They obtained a good report. Why? By faith. Yeah. Did Abraham ever experience the kingdom of heaven?
Nah.
But was he promised the kingdom of heaven?
Okay.
He was promised the kingdom of heaven, but he never experienced the kingdom of heaven. Right? Why? Because he had faith. He had faith. That's why he did the things that he did. Abraham never received his reward, ever. He never received his reward. Now, he was blessed, absolutely. But the reward that was promised to him and his seed, he never received it. But he still did the things that he was supposed to do by faith. Right? Keep going.
Verse 3. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God.
Right. Through faith, we understand that the Lord created the worlds. We understand that through faith. Did we see the Lord create the worlds? We see that?
Awesome.
Were we here in the time of Genesis, the first chapter? We didn't see none of those things, right? We didn't see none of that. We didn't see when the Lord said that he created man in the likeness of his own image. You know what I'm saying? We didn't see none of those things. We wasn't around to see when he rose Adam up. We wasn't around to see none of those things. But do we believe it happened?
Okay.
That's the evidence of things not seen, not. That's the evidence of things not seen. The evidence is what we find in the Bible. We find that evidence right here in the Bible. I can read it to you right now. It's right here. And that's my evidence. I don't need to go back in time and see it. I don't need to be a time traveler to serve God. I believe it. Right? Keep going.
God. So that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. By faith, Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain.
We all know the story of Abel and Cain. By faith, Abel offered unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. Go ahead. We'll break that down in just a second. Go ahead.
By which he obtained witness that he was righteous.
Mm-hmm. So with his sacrifice, he obtained witness that he was righteous. Go ahead.
God testifying of his gifts.
And the Lord testified of Abel's gifts. Go ahead.
And by it, he being dead, yet speaketh.
And by it, what?
Being dead, yet speaketh.
And by it, he being dead, Abel is dead. Cain murdered his brother. But because of his sacrifice, he yet speaketh. Why? What does that mean? By it, go ahead.
By it, like his, because when he gave that sacrifice, when Cain killed him, his blood still spoke to them all the time, let them know that, hey.
Exactly. And why did his blood cry out from under the ground?
Because he was righteous.
Because he was righteous. That's the only reason why the Lord gave a damn about him anyway. You know, people die like the. Listen, I'm not gonna go into movie references, right? But people die every day. That's what I'm gonna say, right? People die every day. Not everybody's death matters to the Most High, but Abel's death mattered. Abel's death mattered to the Most High. Why? Because he was righteous. Because he offered a righteous sacrifice. Give me Genesis, the 4th chapter. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about Abel's sacrifice and why it meant so much to the Most High, right? Genesis 4:1.
I got the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain a tiller of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord.
So now listen, we got to understand this, right? Before there was a Bible, before there was one of these, before there was, any written word of the Lord's name was among the people. All right, that's what it was. And so Adam and his rib, Eve, they taught their children, which is the same thing that the book of Deuteronomy tells you to do, is to teach your children the laws of the Most High, right? Same thing that the book of Proverbs tells you to do, right? Teach your children the laws of the Most High, right? Train them up in the way that they should go. So now they trained Abel, and they also told Cain, listen, this power that we serve, this is the Most High God, right? And so what happened is, because they had the understanding of what the Most High was and how to serve the Most High, Abel, Abel, are we in verse 4 already?
Oh, sorry, 3.
3. Okay, keep going. We talking about Cain still. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 4. And Abel,
go ahead.
He also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof.
Okay, so now this is now that we hear, right? Cain understood and Abel understood that they were supposed to make offerings to the Most High. What did Cain bring? He brought the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. Why? Because Cain was what? He was a tiller of the ground. That's what he was. That's what he did. He was a tiller. He was a farmer, right? So he brought the fruit of the ground, whatever that was. The Bible doesn't say what it was. Nobody should speculate, but you can hypothesize it was the fruit of the ground, meaning it could be, I don't know, turnips or beets or whatever the hell. I don't know, whatever the hell the ground bears. Whatever he was farming, that's what he brought to the Lord, right? And then Abel, he brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. What's the fat thereof? Meaning the best part of it, right? So he brought the firstlings of his flock, which of course you find in the Bible, it's a very common theme that the Most High wants what?
The first.
The first of everything. He wants the firstborn son. He wants the first fruit of your harvest. He wants the first fruit of, the first of your of your sacrifices, right? He wants the first of everything. Abel had the better sacrifice. We know that by now, right? Keep going.
And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, right? The Lord appreciated Abel's offering. That's what the Lord wanted. And that's just like anybody else, right? The Lord is, he's a father. That's just like anybody else. People like what they like. Friend, we was talking about. I was talking to this brother about Tootsie Rolls earlier. I don't like Tootsie Rolls. We was talking about candy. I don't like Tootsie Rolls. I used to, grew up on them. I just don't like them anymore. If somebody, what's a good candy that I like? I like Reese's. I like chocolate candy or like Snickers, right? If somebody bring me Snickers, I mean, I'm gonna appreciate the Snickers more than I'm gonna appreciate the Tootsie Roll. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I'm not the Lord. Ain't nobody bringing offerings to me, but I'm just saying everybody has their preference, right? So the Lord has his preference as well. The Lord wanted blood, and that's what he got. That's what he got with Abel.
Not only that, but it takes more work and more patience with an animal than it does with a vegetable,
Yeah.
Fruits like
Come.
Fruit, and for an animal you have to, come on, like for those who farm, like for those who are, working with animals, it's like you want the best. Like, man, this one right here, like people who will understand would be people who breed dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they understand this dog right here, this dog will make, what I want it to make.
Right.
And it's always going to be, ready to go. And not only that, but from this dog, you can make more money off of it, right? So It's like the same thing. You can't make more money off of vegetables. Anybody can do that.
Right.
But for a good, a goat, a good, lamb, a good, ox, for that, I mean, it's like it's hard to find.
Right.
Like,
yeah, and that's a much bigger sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? That's a much bigger sacrifice. You can't multiply sheep, sheep and goats and stuff like that. You can't multiply the way that you can multiply beets and fruit and stuff like that.
Right.
Because you can just when they grow up, right? When they sprout out, they got seeds already in them, so you could just take them and just plant them and But to be able to multiply sheeps and lambs and whatever the hell else that they was, it takes time, and they're extremely valuable. You get what I'm saying? Which that's why Abel's sacrifice was much more valuable than Cain's. You gonna say something?
You still gotta wait till it's off of the mother's milk.
Right.
You still gotta wait for that, and then with the plant, you just plant, you wait a couple of seasons, boom,
right
there.
Yeah, damn
and
right.
Not only that, it's just you do a whole field. And it's, you get a whole field of it. But with these, it's like you got to do one or after the other, and it's just like patience.
Right.
Plus, like I said, work.
Right. No, damn right. And that's why the Lord respected Abel's offering, right? Let's keep going. Verse 5.
Verse 5. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had not respect.
He didn't want that, man. He didn't want the thing that Cain offered. That's just that simple. He didn't want it. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no reason to get all, up in a bunch. It's not a big deal, right? But keep going.
And Cain was very wroth.
Right, but Cain got pissed off with that. He didn't like the fact that that the Lord, which was supposed to have been at that time his father, right, or the Most High, preferred his brother over him. He didn't like that. Keep going.
And his countenance fell.
And his countenance fell. You know what I'm saying? He had a low countenance. Keep going.
Now come on, verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth?
And the Lord said this unto Cain. He said, why are you angry? Why are you so damn angry? Keep going.
And why is thy countenance fallen?
And why does your countenance fall? Go ahead.
If thou doest well,
If you do what?
doeth well,
If thou doest well, go ahead.
thou shalt not thou be acceptable?
Hey, listen, man, if you do well, should you not be accepted? And this, I do this with my kids. I do it with everybody. If you do well, should you not be accepted? Meaning what? If his offering, if his sacrifice was good, I would have accepted it. You just fell short. That's what the Lord is telling him. Abel is better than you. Because of American society, it's like America teaches you that no, you can't say somebody's better than the other. Everybody's equal. Damn that. People are better than everybody. Everybody has somebody that's better than them. There's some person that's better than another. The scriptures say that. You know what I'm saying? Until one day, one man esteemeth unto the more than the other. You know what I'm saying? Listen, like General Muhammad said, right? I love it when General Muhammad said this. Listen, man. Everybody that has children, you got a favorite child. I mean, and if you don't have a favorite, one's better than the other. It's just they're not equal. One does more of what you like, and one does less of what you like. It's that simple. It's not nothing to be, ashamed of. The Lord has favorite children. We're his favorite child. You get what I'm saying? And at this time, what happened? The Lord said, listen, man, Cain, you fell short. You fell short. You're not good enough yet. And that's okay. That's healthy. That's healthy. I mean, and y'all don't have to do what I do, right? But like with my kids, when one of them be mad because the other one is winning on a game or whatever like that, I said, listen, what are you mad at him for? He's just better than you at this game. You know what you should be doing instead of being mad? Ask him for tips on how to get better because he's obviously better than you at this game. Y'all ain't got to pit yourselves against each other. That's the spirit that Cain had with Abel. He felt like he was now in competition with Abel. What he should have done is say, damn, how did you know that this is what Pops wanted? How did you know this is what the Most High wanted? Oh, I just know that he liked this, that, and third. Damn, for real? Okay. Next time I'm going to do better. That's the way that these things should be handled. But because so many people had that spirit that came because America pushed it on us, it ain't no, it ain't no he's better than me. Damn that. He can't be better than me. He got to die. That's why we kill each other today. You was going to say something? But that's why we kill each other today, because we got that same spirit. I am not going to finish this class. There's no way. No, I ain't going to say there's no way. We got time. I got to have a little bit more faith, y'all. That's what it sounds like. I ain't have faith we're going to finish this class. We still got an hour left. We got time. We'll be all right. Keep going.
Okay. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
And if you don't do well, which is what Cain did, he didn't do well. His offering was just not good enough. What happens?
Sin lieth at the door.
Sin lieth at the door, man. And that's exactly what happened to him. Keep going.
And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
Now take me back to Hebrews the 11th chapter. All right. Take me back to Hebrews the 11th chapter. Let's get another example, right? Give me verse 5.
Look at Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death.
By faith, Enoch was what?
Translated that he should not see death.
Listen, man, what I want everybody to understand is Enoch was translated. What does that mean? Changed. That's what Enoch was. Enoch, does anybody know who? Do you know who Enoch is?
No, he was a priest. I know that he was a prophet.
Nah, I think you're talking about Elijah. You're talking about Elijah. Elijah was translated too. I don't say he was translated, but he was taken up the same way Enoch was. But so Enoch, you know who Enoch is in the book of Genesis?
I want to read up on it again.
Enoch is, they don't the Bible doesn't really talk too much about Enoch because he was a good brother that the Lord just decided, I'm taking him with me. You know what I'm saying? Watch, keep reading, and it'll show you exactly what it's talking about.
and was not found because God had translated him.
Mhm.
For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God. But
Right. So now that we're gonna keep it right there, right? So by faith, now you can hold for me Genesis the 5th chapter, right? By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death. He didn't taste of death. The man that lived the longest life was Methuselah. All right. Methuselah was Enoch's son. Methuselah lived 969 years. That was the longest recorded life of anybody. Nobody else has been recorded to live longer than that. But Enoch didn't see death, right? We'll get the understanding of what that means, right, with the precept, right? Why? Because the Most High translated him, changed him, right? And for before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased God. What is this testimony? The testimony of the Bible, right? The testimony of the Most High, right? Because of course, like I said before, in the book of Genesis, at that time, the Bible wasn't around. This is, the Bible, we read the 1611 King James Bible. That's thousands of years after this, right? But he had the testimony of the Most High because he followed the words of the Lord, because there's always been an oral tradition amongst the Lord's chosen people. So now let's get Genesis, the 5th chapter, and verse 21.
Book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 21. And Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah.
Which is who I just talked about. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters.
And so now Enoch walked with the Most High. How did he walk with the Most High?
Keeping the law.
Keeping the law, the law that was not written in the Bible yet. That oral law that the Lord told. Remember, you can even call what the Most High gave to Adam the law, right? Because the Most High told Adam, he gave him a specific list of instructions on what to do. Adam failed. Enoch didn't, though. Adam walked with the Most High. When I tell a brother, if I'm trying to break something down to you or whatever, right? I'll tell you, listen, walk with me, right? Why? Because I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me. Let's go through this together. Enoch walked with the Lord in that same way. He listened to the Most High, right? Keep going.
Verse 23. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years.
And listen, man. Enoch, he lived 365 years, right? Which most people was living at this time 800, 900 years. But Enoch lived 365 years. Go ahead.
Enoch walked with God. He was not.
And he was what?
He was not.
And he was not. Meaning he just stopped existing on the earth. Why? Go ahead.
For God took him.
For God did what?
For God took him.
For God took him. The Lord took him. Listen, give me Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, the 49th chapter. God took him how? It's not magical. It's not magical or spooky or a mystery, right? The Lord just didn't allow him to taste of death the same way that Elijah didn't have to taste of death, right? Now, did Elijah die? That's a question for you. Did Elijah die? You sure? You sure? You say, Khan, you sure?
I'm sure.
So you telling me Elijah didn't die? But the scriptures say all men got to die.
That Elijah didn't die. He was taken up.
He was taken up, but he still died out. And the reason why I know that he died is because who else was Elijah?
It's like John.
John was Elijah. So in order for John to be the reincarnation of Elijah, Elijah must have died. So when it says, so that's the example, right? That's another instance of the same thing that happened to Enoch, right? They were taken up, but they still died, right? They walked with the Lord, but they still died, right? And then that's the theme that you find that's common between both of them. And they're not even the only ones that happened to, right? But just to keep it real simple, right? That's how you can prove that he must have died. He had to have died, right? He just didn't die like everybody else. He didn't die like Methuselah died. Methuselah, his son, died at 969 years old, and he's probably laid up in the bed somewhere and just died. Lord didn't want Enoch to die that same manner. He took him up. He died another time at some point. I don't know what happened when he took him up, but he had to have died because everybody has one way into this earth, like the scriptures say, and one way out, which is death. Everybody, even in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna die. Even in the kingdom of heaven, we're still gonna die, right? So just remember that. All right, give me Ecclesiasticus, the 49th chapter, and give me verse 14.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 49, verse 14. But upon the earth was no man created like Enoch, for he was taken from the earth.
For he was what?
Taken from the earth.
So this is what the scripture is saying. Upon the earth there was no man. At that time there was nobody that was created like Enoch. Nobody. Why? Because everybody else, even his son, died on the earth. Just died, and died of old age, died of murder, whatever the hell they died on earth. At that time there was nobody that was created like Enoch. Because he was taken from the earth, right? He was translated. He was taken up just like Elijah was, right? So I wanted everybody to understand that. Why? Because the scriptures just say, you can take me back to Hebrews, the 11th chapter, right? The scriptures say, because by faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death. What was that faith? Was that faith that he just believed that God was Lord? Adam knew that God was Lord. Adam knew that the Most High was the Most High. Because why? Because even after he transgressed what the Most High told him to do, he hid himself in the garden when he knew the Most High was coming. Because he knew the Most High had the power. He knew the Most High was the Most High. So knowing the Most High is the Most High, that's nothing. Anybody can know that. These heathens, the reason why they got a space force today is because they know the Most High is going to send Christ to crack the sky. That's why they got a space force today. They know the Most High is the Most High. Right. That don't mean they're going to be saved. That don't mean the Lord loved them. That don't mean they love the Lord, right? That works, those works is what justifies you. And the works justified Enoch. Why? Because Enoch did what? He walked with God. You know what I'm saying? He did exactly what the Lord told. Otherwise, if that's the case, listen, if I'll tell you like this, if Adam had done what Enoch did, Adam would have been taken up. Or Adam would have had some sort of supernatural thing going on with him. But he didn't walk with God because he didn't do what God said. And so now that's why we all jammed up today. That's why you women got, are troubled in childbirth. You get what I'm saying? That's why there's enmity between the devil and us, right? Because the scriptures say that the Lord was going to put enmity, right, between the serpent and between the children of Israel. That's why these things happen, because they didn't walk with God. They walked with the serpent. So, just everybody keep that in mind. All right. So now let's get Hebrews 11 chapter, and we'll start at verse 6.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
So now, but without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. So you have to have faith. Don't what I'm saying, don't think that faith is unnecessary. Like you can just have the works and that's it. You must have the faith also. Because without faith, it's impossible to serve the Most High and please the Most High. Go ahead.
For he that cometh to God must believe that he is.
For you to be able to come into the Most High, you have to believe that that's the Most High. You can't come to the Most High with a shaky faith, man. Trust me, I've tried it before, and a lot of people have, and it doesn't work. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't work. You have to have, you have to be sure. You have to make your election sure. You have to be sure that this God that you claim to serve is the one that's going to deliver you. You have to. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? Right? Even the heathen understands that. They call it the law of attraction. And the law of attraction for these heathen. Now, the law of attraction, of course, we don't teach that in the UPK, right? The law of attraction is faith in things. That's all it is, right? We teach faith in the Most High. Law of attraction is faith in things. But that's what it is for the heathen. The heathen even understand that the law of attraction means that if you have faith, that every morning when you wake up, you believe and truly believe, I'm going to be a millionaire in, a year or two because I'm doing this. Then you'll be a millionaire. That's the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction is if you accept certain things that you'll earn. I haven't watched the damn. There's this whole thing on Netflix about it, right? Point being is, if you believe hard enough, you'll receive those things. That's basically, in a nutshell, what the law of attraction is. Now, that's what Christians think. It's like good.
They call it manifest also.
Yeah, like manifestation. You manifest things for yourself. That's what Christians believe the Bible is. If you believe hard enough that the Lord is going to save you, it's not true.
It's like going back to what was it, James, right? Where you tell someone, oh, you hungry, you cold,
Right.
Just go and you will be fed and whatnot, right? So it's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, you got that faith, but
Right.
it's still not enough.
Right. It's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to have the works with it. You can't just believe hard enough and then food's going to appear on your table. I could just, I got nigga hair. You get what I'm saying? For the most part, I could just believe that my hair is going to be combed out in the morning. I could believe that. I could believe it as much as I want. When I wake up in the morning, my hair is going to be kinked up. You know what I'm saying? All nappy as hell. I'm gonna try to comb it out myself, and I'm gonna tear my scalp out of my goddamn head. Go ahead, Scott.
Or you can believe that paycheck is gonna be fat.
Yeah, you can believe that too.
But because you didn't put in hours,
you didn't put in that work. Yeah.
Put in that work. So I mean, it's gonna be short.
Right. Yeah, damn right. So, and that's the point. You know what I'm saying? It's not spooky. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. It's not. I say that, and the only reason why I say that so much is because people think the Bible is spooky. People think it's mystified and a mystery and magic, and it's not like that. Like even Christ healing the sick, that wasn't magic. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't magic. He was healing the sick the same way we heal the sick today. It's not magic. This Bible is not magic. So let's just make sure everybody understands that the Bible is not magic. Okay. Keep going.
Gone. And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek them.
That do what?
Diligently seek him.
Yeah, man, the Lord is going to reward you if you diligently seek him. But that, of course, that doesn't, if you diligently seeking the Lord, that doesn't mean, just praying and just, Lord, where are you? I need you to come to me. Lord he don't want to come to your wicked ass. He's trying to stay as far away from you as possible. You are a whore. You know what I'm saying? You are a drug addict. You are whatever the thing that you are that I'm talking to right now. Whatever it is that you are, he wants to stay away from you. You get what I'm saying? You got to come to him. And listen, just to plug the truth, man. This is the one place that you can actually come to the Most High. This is how you know that, like the scriptures say, that you must seek him. That's what the scriptures say. You have to seek the Lord out. That's what you got to do. Scriptures also say you have to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. The Lord's not going to work that thing out for you. You think the Lord's just working out your life? The Lord caused you to be the type of person you are today. That's what he did. He caused you to be a drug addict because you didn't want to follow him. He's trying to show you. He's trying to show you that when you make your own decisions, everything goes wrong. That's what he's trying to show you. So you should just understand that, right? Keep going.
Come. Verse 7. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet.
Not what?
Not seen as yet.
Listen, man, by faith, Noah. We all know who Noah is. You've been to Sunday school. You know who Noah. You don't even have to go to church or Sunday school or nothing. You just know who Noah in the Noah's Ark is, right? By faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet. Listen, Noah was warned, I'm going to flood the earth. Imagine some voice come to you in your head saying, the earth is going to get flooded. You might think you got to go to the goddamn doctor and get checked up for schizophrenia. Yeah, there's this voice in my head telling me, the earth is going to get flooded. Noah had faith, real faith. And he believed in something that he had not seen yet because the Lord said that he was going to flood the entire earth. Right? Keep going.
Come. Moved with fear.
He moved with what?
With fear.
He moved with fear. Go ahead.
Prepared an ark to the saving of his house.
Right. So he was moved with fear. I should say that like that, right? So he was moved with fear, right? Fear was invoked in him. He became scared of something that he didn't even know was going to happen or not, right? Somebody could come to this door right now and tell me, hey, man, listen, we're going to end tomorrow. The Chinese and the Japanese, they're going to bomb America. And then we're going, America's going to send bombs and it's going to be a nuclear warfare and everybody's going to die. I'm not going to believe that, nigga. Why I gotta believe him? It's just some guy coming and telling me something that I don't even know is going to happen for sure. Why am I going to base my life around what he told me? What the Lord told Noah, yeah, man, the world's going to end. I'm going to flood the entire earth. Build a goddamn ark. That's what he said. Build an ark, which is hard work, by the way, which is, of course, the works that come with that faith. Because not only did he believe, damn, the world is going to become flooded, right? But I'm also going to have to do a strenuous amount of work, because when you see how big the ark is, there's a picture of it online, not of the original ark, but the scale. It's huge. And for that man and his children to do that by themselves, I mean, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Not even adding, gathering the animals.
Gathering the animals.
Not only that, but looking like a fool for the people, telling them, there's a flood that's gonna come.
Just like the nigga that would come to the door to me.
Yeah.
The nigga that come to the door to me tell me the world gonna end tomorrow. I'm not doing that. And so he probably looked like that to them. He probably like coming. He's the same thing for him. He coming and telling people, hey man, listen, the world's gonna flood. And he probably not doing like I am. He probably was with urgency. Hey man, listen. Okay, y'all gotta listen to me. I'm building this ark because the Lord told me, the Most High God told me that the earth is gonna flood. The earth's gonna flood. I need y'all to understand this so y'all can be saved from this flood. Like they looking at him like, what's wrong with this guy? He a paranoid schizophrenic. I'm staying away from him. I'm not getting on no goddamn boat with him. You know what I'm saying? That's what they thought, right?
Or how people see us around the corner and saying that America's gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, how people. That's exact. And I like to bring out that scripture. I can't remember what book it's in. I got it in my precept book, but when the scriptures say, just as the times of Noah, when people, when they was marrying and giving in marriage, everybody was doing whatever they wanted to do, and Noah was trying to tell them, the Lord's gonna send a disaster on the face of this planet, and they was like, whatever. That's the same way it's gonna be now.
For the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Yeah, they was eating and they was having fun, and they was marrying and giving in marriage, having a whole bunch of sex. That was just having all that sex that they wanted to, and having all of these parties until the day that Noah entered into that ark. Because the day that Noah entered into that ark, that's when the rain started coming down. And then they started to realize that the rain wasn't stopping. And then they started to realize, damn, but that cat like it. It's beautiful to me personally. You get what I'm saying? Because that's exactly how it's going to be when Christ returns. But that same cat that was trying to warn us, trying to save our lives, damn, you might be right. Because it's 6 inches of rain on the ground right now, and it's been raining for a couple of days. I don't know if it's going to stop. And they also noticed that Noah got on the goddamn ark. Like, I'm safe. Good.
It kind of sounds like when Commander Hunter was telling people that, there's a plague coming.
Yeah.
And the COVID came in, it was like,
right.
Okay, it's going to stop. It's in China. It's not here.
Right.
And then, boom, it comes over here. Now, everybody got to wear a mask.
Done. It's crazy.
People have to, now the government is shutting down certain things. Now you got a curfew in certain places. Now it's like little things are starting to come up, and then shortage of food and this and that.
Done.
It's like, these are signs that are coming, which the Lord gave to us to, teach or to give to the people, to prepare them.
Right.
But, they don't want to listen to Commander Yohana.
No, they don't want to listen. Just like they didn't want to listen to Noah. You get what I'm saying? Commander Yohana is, the one that the Lord chose to lead Israel today. Right? That's the truth. You get what I'm saying? And so, just like they didn't want to listen to Moses, just like they didn't want to listen to Noah, just like they didn't want to listen to Joshua, they didn't want to listen to no goddamn body. Well, they don't want to listen to Commander Yohana either. Who did tell them? Listen, okay. I don't know if everybody knows this. He approved a movie that the brothers in Philly did. I think it was 2018. They did a movie, right? Just within the school, right? But it was like a movie, and there was a movie idea that they had where there was a disease that came from China that wiped out, I don't want to say the entire earth, but it struck the entire earth. It was some sort of disease or something like that. It was a virus, right? And everybody had to wear masks and all of that. They came out with that. I think it was 2018 or 2019. You get what I'm saying? And then, just so happens that, the year 2020 in the land of China, there's a disease that breaks out, a virus that breaks out that gets spread to the entire earth, and everybody got to wear masks. Nobody, the scriptures say, you'll know a prophet by if his prophecy come true or not. And that's just a movie. We're not even talking about the prophecies that he has read out of his Bible, and he's put on today's time to say, listen, there are going to be pestilences that come out, and you're going to and it's going to be hard because of those pestilences, there's going to be a famine. What happened? There was a pestilence that came upon this land, which is the COVID-19, and because of that COVID-19, there was a famine, meaning you couldn't get no food. Remember, we couldn't get toilet paper? Y'all remember that? Couldn't get goddamn toilet paper. Couldn't get toilet paper. The canned goods was all gone because everybody was stocking up on canned goods. There was nothing that you couldn't get food. Well, that was because, of course, because of the Lord, but, Commander General Yohana prophesied those things, just like Noah. And that's because Commander General Yohana has the faith of Noah, the same faith that Noah had. Because the Lord told Commander General Yohana through these scriptures what is going to happen. He didn't see COVID-19 happening yet. It wasn't happening yet, but he had faith that it was going to happen. And then look here, you get what I'm saying? Good.
It's saying and people don't know that the food shortage is still going.
Like
I was earlier today, I took my oldest. We went to Whataburger, and right there on the window it says some items may not be in due to food shortage.
Damn. That's terrible.
A lot of chicken is.
Yeah, they got a chicken shortage right now. Yeah.
It's a huge shortage right now.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's the point. You get what I'm saying? Let's keep. Where was we at?
Kind of middle verse 7.
Let's just read 7 all the way through.
Hebrews 11, chapter 11, verse 7. By faith, Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith.
So give me Genesis the 6th chapter, 7th verse. All right. We're gonna talk about Noah now. All right. And we're gonna talk about the fact that once again, his faith had to be coupled with works. We just saw Enoch's faith had to be coupled with works, right? He had to do works as well. Abel, he had to do works. All of these examples, right, that you see of people having to, of people that have faith, they also had works with it. Otherwise, the Bible wouldn't talk about it at all, because we just read in James that faith without works is dead, right? You're justified by the works that you do, not by the faith that you have. You can have the faith you got the faith that you wake up in the morning, your hair be combed out. You're not justified by that. You know how you can have that faith? You can have the faith. When I wake up in the morning, my hair is going to be combed out. Why? Because I'm going to comb it out. That's real faith. That's real faith, right? You're justified by your works, because without your works, the faith just means you're going to wake up with a nappy head. But the works mean that your hair is going to be combed out, right? All right, let's get what I call Salaki.
You want to start at 6 or 7?
7. Yeah, so Genesis 6 and 7.
Book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. The Lord regretted making us.
And just as a sidebar, he regretted making us because of interracial marriage. If you read the beginning of this chapter, this is talking about when the sons of God, you get what I'm saying, laid with the daughters of men, right? Married the daughters of men. That's talking about interracial marriage. The sons of God were the Lord's chosen lineage down through Seth. You get what I'm saying? And the daughters of men were all of those that that were not of the Lord's lineage. You know what I'm saying? You can hypothesize that they came out of Cain's lineage, right? Because Cain was excommunicated from the Lord's whole lineage. Cain is totally separate from the Lord, right? But point being is the Lord had a specific nation of people or a group of people that he wanted to be separate from everybody else, but they decided they was going to have sex with everything and have sex with all of the other people, right? So now, because that's the case, the Lord said he's going to destroy man, right? Because it repented him. He regretted making human beings because of how wicked and evil he was, right? Keep going.
Come on, verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
But the one person that found grace in the eyes of the Lord was Noah. We're going to find out why. Go ahead.
Verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man.
He was a just man. Go ahead.
And perfect in his generation.
And perfect in his generations. He didn't mix and intermingle with anybody. He stayed within the nations of people that the Lord said that he could have sex with. That's one thing that you got to understand. The Bible tells you who to have sex with and who not to have sex with. It's that humble. Listen, if you don't feel like being intruded on like that, then you can go be a Muslim. If you don't feel like being intruded on like that, you can go be a Christian or a Catholic and have your children raped and molested, or you be raped and molested by your Christian pastor or your Catholic priest, so-called priest. But if you desire true, if I'll tell you like this, if you desire true leadership and you desire the truth, you're going to have to deal with being intruded upon. Meaning the Lord gives a damn about everything that you do. And he cares about who you have sex with. And in the ISUPK, we give a damn about who you have sex with as well. If a brother is, having sex with a whore, that means that he has joined that whore to this body. That's what the Bible says. So we give a damn about our brothers in here having sex with prostitutes and sluts. We care about that. We give a damn about who they're having sex with, right? Just like we care about who these women are having sex with. Not because we care, on that type of level, but we care on a spiritual level because once again, who you have sex with joins them to the body of Christ. So, you having sex with a prostitute or some whore or some slut you met, you joining them to us. She's calling General Muhammad at 2:00 in the goddamn morning. 2:00 in the morning calling because, she doesn't like that you have another woman. He got to take the counsel because you didn't join this woman to us. I know I went on that for quite some time, but I just want y'all to understand that. Oh, Slaki. Right? Read that from the top again.
Verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God.
And he did what?
Walked with God.
And Noah walked with God, meaning he did what God told him to do. And this is how you go down this line, right? And we'll get to it hopefully if we got time, right? Noah walked with God. He did it just the same way that Enoch walked with God. How did Enoch walk with God? He did what the Most High told him to do. Same way that Noah walked with God. He did exactly what the Lord told him to do. The Lord told him, do not partake in that interracial marriage that everybody else is partaking in. Keep your generations pure. That's what we aim to do in the ISUPK. We aim to keep our brothers and sisters' generation pure. How do we do that? How do we keep our generations pure? By dealing with our people and our people only. We're only going to deal with the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That's it. That's it. That's all we're going to do. We're not having sex with white women. We're not doing what them other Israelite groups do, saying that you can have concubines of other nations and create babies with them. I don't want to do that. I want to have sex with black women, Hispanic women, Native American women. That's what I want to do. Why? Because I want to keep my generations pure like Noah did. Right? That's how you walk with God. The Lord told them, just like how he told Adam. He told Adam to have his generations pure too, right? He told Adam to keep his generations pure. How did he do that? Can you tell me when when the Lord told Adam to keep his generations pure?
When he made Eve his rib.
Beautiful. That's the answer. That's when he decided that Adam was going to be his chosen line, and he was going to make sure that he had his generations pure, because he made Adam have sex with a woman that was of his family, right? Meaning of his nationality. That's what he did. And that's what the Lord requires for all of us. So the same way he did that with Adam, it's the same way he did that with Noah, right? Genesis 7:1.
Genesis chapter 7 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Noah, come, thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation.
Listen, man, the reason why he got saved, like Christians talk about being saved. I don't know what that, Christians say that when they go to church for a few times and they get baptized in that nasty ass water, they think that's them being saved. So they'll say, I'm saved. Saved from what? You're not saved. The scriptures say that if he that endureth to the end, the very same is saved. You have to endure to the end. Well, listen, man. Noah endured. He went through all of that. I don't know if everybody understands. When you go through the dimensions of this ark and all of the animals, the excellent point that you brought out, all the animals that he had to round up and bring into the ark, he put in work. He put in work. People look at this like a fairy tale. Look at it realistically. Imagine all of the species of animals that he had to take in there and round up by 7s and 2s. Imagine that. Not to mention the damn ark that he built out of gopher wood, which is hard to work with. I used to do carpentry. I know how hard gopher wood is to work with. He had to work with that and build a ark the size of this damn block damn near, right? That took a long time. He was justified not by his faith saying, the Lord will just save me from the flood if there's a flood. He wasn't justified by that. He was justified because he put in the work and he got saved by it.
Not only that, but from the orders that he was given,
right?
How big, how much, what to do, how many animals, unclean, clean,
right?
All that, like everything, like every order that he was given, he completed it.
Right.
Like.
No, damn right. And that's the thing. If he'd have made that ark a few cubits smaller than the Lord told him to do it because he wanted to, cut corners, the Lord might have made that thing fall apart in that flood. You get what I'm saying? It might not have been enough to withstand the heaviness of that water. But because he did what he was supposed to do, he was saved. And him and his 3 sons and their wives, you know what I'm saying, was saved from that destruction. And that was only because of the works that they did. It was, like I said, if I had just the faith, the Lord will just, he'll carry me, maybe he'll teach me how to swim. He'll teach me how to swim so good that I won't need an ark. I won't need to put years into building an ark and rounding up all of these goddamn species of animals. Maybe he'll just teach me how to swim. He didn't think like that. He didn't think like a Christian. He thought like a man of the Lord. And it was imputed unto him for righteousness. Right? Let's go back. All right. Let's go back to Hebrews 11. All right. We're going to talk about Abraham now. Hebrews 11:8.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed.
He did what?
Obeyed.
Listen, man. When Abraham was called to go to another land, not the land of his fathers, not the land where he grew up, not the land that he was accustomed to, not the land that he knew, a land that he didn't know nothing about, nor the people. He didn't know nobody over there. By faith, he did what?
Obeyed.
He obeyed. That's what everybody should do. That's what you should do by faith. You should just shut the hell up and obey and know that you're stupid. Keep going.
And he went out and not knowing whither he went.
He didn't know where he was going. That's the thing. When you look at, and I wish I had enough time to go into the entire story of Abraham. He didn't know where he was going. The Lord told him to go to this land, then this land, then this land, and guided him up through a land of a bunch of Hamites. You know what I'm saying? People that were not him, people that were not his people. He didn't know where he was going, but he took it one step at a time and he followed. Keep going.
Verse 9. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise.
Verse 10 is the kicker. Go ahead.
Verse 10. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God.
He looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High. Remember, when the Lord was telling him to go into these lands already were inhabited by other people. People that were not going to be the inhabitants of that land. Why? Because the Lord told him that Abraham and his seed were going to be the inhabitants of those lands. But when he was going into those lands, what was he seeing? He wasn't seeing his people in them lands. He was seeing a bunch of other people. That's the faith that he had. Take me to Genesis, the 17th chapter. We'll break this down a little bit, right? Like I said, I wish that we could go into the entire history. I'm not saying we can't. We just can't tonight. That might be something like maybe for like a Sabbath service or something like that. But the story of Abraham is ridiculous, right? We went through one story earlier, right, when the Lord told him to sacrifice his son, right? But when you go into when you really can put yourself in his shoes with what the Lord was asking him to do, him sacrificing his son wasn't the first thing that sounded outlandish to him. Like Abraham had arguments with his wife about moving from place to place because the Lord was telling him to move from place to place. Imagine being in an argument imagine waking your woman up in the middle of the night, say, "Hey, listen, baby, I know we got a tent here and I know everything's settled here, but the Lord Most High, he's telling me we got to go to this land that's thousands of miles away." It wasn't thousands, of hundreds, really. This land is hundreds of miles away. So come on, baby, let's get up in the morning. We're going to go to this land, leave all of our family, all of our friends. We're going to go to this land where a bunch of Hamites dwell. Like, imagine that. Think about the type of argument that you would have with your woman. Think about it. Like, think about the type of argument that your woman would have for you. Wait, you telling me we got to leave our family, our people, to go live in this land full of Hamites? The people that hate us, the Hamites have always hated the Shemites, right? And that's because some voice in your head told you to. But this is the thing, though. No matter what maybe arguments maybe have happened behind the scenes, him and his rib, they went through it. You get what I'm saying? They got it done. And we're going to talk about her, too. We actually going to talk about her, right? But let's talk about Abraham first. All right? So let's get Genesis, the 17th chapter. We start at verse 1.
Okay, book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God.
Mm-hmm.
Walk before me and be thou perfect.
So listen, man, the Lord appeared to Abram before his name was changed to Abraham, which we'll get the understanding of that in just a minute. The Lord appeared to him and said, listen, he said, I am the Most High God, right? And walk before me and be perfect, which of course, once again, cuts every Christian that says that nobody's perfect. Abraham was perfect. So Christ wasn't even the first perfect man. You think about that. It's a lot. Good.
Like I said, you read when Noah, he said Noah was perfect.
Noah was perfect in a damn. You cut me. You know what I'm saying? You cutting me because you damn right. Noah was perfect in his generation. You get what I'm saying? So, and he was a just man. So you can be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You can be perfect. You can be what the Lord wants of you. But you just have to be able to put in the work. You have to be able to put in the work to be able to have that title of being perfect. Keep going.
Come on, verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Father of many nations. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made thee.
Right. So now his name in the Hebrew is Abraham, which means a father of many nations. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Go ahead.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger.
So this is the important part. I mean, all of that was important, right? And I'm gonna touch on all of it, right? But he said that I'm gonna give. This is the Lord speaking. I'm gonna give to you this and your seed after you the land wherein thou art a stranger. Remember, the Lord pushed Abraham into a land where he was a stranger, a land full of Hamites and a bunch of Canaanites and a bunch of people that were not his people. So he was a stranger in that land. But he said that the Lord said that he was going to give him that land for him and his children because of his faith. Why? Because of verse 3. And Abram fell on his face. When the Lord spoke to Abram, Abram fell on his face and praised the Lord. You get what I'm saying? Because he understood that he had to do whatever the Lord told him to do. That was it. Whatever the Lord tells me to do, I'm going to do it. And that just goes to show you the same spirit that them brothers you find in 1st and 2nd Maccabees that put their lives on the line for the laws and the statutes of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? When you go into 2nd Maccabees, I believe it's the 11th chapter, when it says that or it might have been, no, I think it's the 7th chapter, where the seven brothers and the one mother, where they died for not just because they wouldn't eat a piece of pork, and a piece of pork could have saved them, a piece of pig could have saved them. They could have just took a bite of this pork and it would have saved them. But what did they do? They held their integrity. That's action. If anything else, if not, none of what I just said is action. That's action. Why? Because they knew, especially the ones that saw the first brother get tortured, they knew that if they didn't eat this piece of pork, this piece of swine, they was going to die. They were going to die, and not in the easiest way. They were going to get scalped. They were going to get their fingers cut off, their limbs cut off. They understood that. But they still didn't eat that pork. That's works, man. That's definitely works. And you don't tell me that it's not works to sit up here and have somebody cut your damn fingers off and you to still deny the seemingly easy thing that it would take for you to stop getting your fingers cut off. That's work, man. You get what I'm saying? That's work. Just the same way that Abraham had them works, man. You know what I'm saying? Abraham had them works. Let's So like you gonna say something? So let's keep reading, right? Keep going. So because of his works, the Lord said that he's going to establish his covenant between him and his seed after him for an everlasting covenant, all because of the works of one man. All because Abraham was that righteous brother. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? We should really understand that the things that you do mean something. Everything that you do, all of it, it all means something. Right? Like so many people believe in like spooky things like the the chain effect or whatever the hell it's called. Or one thing, what is it called? Or one thing causes another thing to happen, another thing.
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction. Everybody believes in a chain reaction until it comes to making terrible goddamn decisions. When you make a terrible decision that you know it's probably in the best idea. You know, it's probably in the best idea, but I'm going to take a shot at it. I'm going to try this. You know, you're not thinking about the chain reaction then, right? Well, the chain reaction that's going on with blacks and Hispanics today is directly based off of the terrible decisions that our forefathers have made. And the terrible decisions that our forefathers have made have been not being like Abraham, not being like Noah, right? Because they decided they didn't have to be perfect. The reason why we went into our slavery today, into slavery in America, is not because of, it's not because the Lord was just a terrible God that, just hated us. It's because the Lord told us to do something, we decided we wasn't going to do it. What I'm trying to make everybody understand is, Abraham wasn't like that. Abraham, when he was given a task, he just did it, right? Like we just talked about Noah. When Noah was given a task, he just did the task, and that was it. Right? Abraham, when he was told to sacrifice his son, he didn't ask no questions. He said, hell, all right, damn, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? It probably was a terrible thing for him, but he said, I'm going to do it. And that's the type of faith he had, because those things are the sacrifices that you sometimes have to make. But let's go back, right? Let's go back to Hebrews 11 and 11. I want to get this one in before we roll out.
I found the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 11. Through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed.
Right.
And was delivered of a child when she was past age.
Listen, man. Sarah, because of her faith, this is Abraham's wife. Sarah, because of her faith, she was able to give her husband a son, which is what every sister wants. Every married sister wants to give their husband a child. That's what they want. That's an honor for a woman. And we see, if you go back into the book of Genesis, which we'll get into it a little bit, right? Sarah was vexed that she could not give a child to her husband. And it says that she was past age. I mean, she was too old to give a goddamn baby. Gone through menopause and all of that. Right? But because of her faith, because she truly believed, because the Lord spoke to her. The Lord spoke to her and told her, listen, I've heard your request. You're gonna have a baby. You know, she laughed at it or whatever. She ain't really, at first she wasn't really getting down like that. But then she had faith in the Lord, and the Lord did what for her? Gave her a baby, right? Allowed her to conceive, right? Read that from the top again.
Hebrews 11, verse 11. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised.
Listen, man, because she judged him faithful who had promised. She judged the Lord faithful. That's who had promised that thing. Who promised it? The Lord. So she judged him faithful. Give me Genesis the 11th chapter. I think we can finish all of these scriptures. See, I have faith, y'all. At first, I didn't have no faith. I thought we wasn't gonna get through the class. I thought we was gonna be running way too far over. I was gonna have to cut scriptures, but I said, you know what? Let me have faith in the Lord. You know, so oh man, so I felt like I sounded too much like a Christian pastor just then. So Salaki, y'all, forgive me. All right, Salaki. All right. The oppressor is the devil, the Bible speaks. So let me get back into that zone. All right, so let's get it. Genesis 11 and 29.
Book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 29. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. Mm-hmm. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai.
Well, this is Sarah before her name was changed to Sarah, right? Her name originally was Sarai, right? And so Abram took a wife, which was Sarai. Go ahead.
And the name of Nahor's wife, Malak, the daughter of Haran.
It's Milcah, but go ahead.
Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Isaac. Mm-hmm. But Sarah was barren.
But Sarai was what?
But Sarai was barren.
Was barren. Meaning what? Go ahead.
She had no child.
She didn't have no child. So listen, Sarai couldn't have children. What barren means is it means that, her ovaries are jammed up, basically. Meaning, it don't matter how much seed you put into this woman, she cannot bear children. I hope that wasn't too, vulgar. So like it. I wasn't trying to be. But point being is, no matter how much you try to have a child with this woman, she's barren. She cannot have children, right? But we're gonna find out what happened with her. Give me Genesis the 21st chapter. Now this is a time after. It's a long time after, right? Genesis the 21st chapter. We're gonna start at verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 21, verse 1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken.
Right. So the Lord, now this is saying that the Lord had already told Sarah. He had visited Sarah before and said, listen, I'm going to give you a child. You are going to bear a child for your husband, because she cared so much about it, right? Because once again, like I said, that's a badge of honor for a woman, which is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing for a woman to want to bear her husband children, right? So because she had cried out to the Lord for that, the Lord came to her and said, listen, you're going to have a child. She didn't believe it at first, right? Because she was old. At this time, she was well past, I can't remember exactly how old she was, but she was too damn old to be having kids, that's for sure. But she found faith in the Lord, and because of that, the Lord visited Sarah as he had said he would, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken, which was to give her a child, right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age.
They was both old as hell. You really think about this. I mean, that was old. I believe they were in their 90s. If I can recall correctly, I believe that they were both in their 90s right? When they had the child, and so that's ridiculous. It doesn't make much sense, right? That's why it didn't make much sense to her at first. But because she had faith, the Lord made it happen, right? Keep going.
At the set time which God has spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac.
Who?
Isaac.
This is Isaac we're talking about. Isaac was born because of faith. That's why Isaac was ever conceived ever. He listen, if Sarah didn't have faith, if Abraham didn't have faith, Isaac wouldn't have been here. What does that mean? Maybe the Ishmaelites would have been the chosen seed of Israel. I mean, it's like not of Israel, it's like of the Most High. Maybe that would have happened. Because without Isaac, you don't have Jacob. And without Jacob, you don't have the 12 tribes of Israel. So the only reason why the 12 tribes of Israel exist today is because of faith. People look at faith as like a New Testament concept. Faith isn't a New Testament concept. That's been since before. You get what I'm saying? That's an Old Testament concept if you really want to keep it real. That's an Old Testament concept that faith is. You get what I'm saying? And because Sarah had that faith, she gave birth to the man that gave birth to the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is absolutely amazing, right? Let's keep going though. So like
verse 4. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac.
And Abraham did what?
Circumcised his son Isaac.
Go ahead.
Being 8 days old, as God had commanded him.
There go the works. There go the works, man. You know what I'm saying? She had the faith that the Lord was going to do it. When she actually had that baby, you know what I'm saying, which was Isaac, Abraham circumcised that boy, which is what the Lord told us to do. So all of our children, all of our males, when they're born on the 8th day, they need to be circumcised. You know what I'm saying, with of their foreskin. And so Abraham did that thing. Why? Because he also had faith. You know what I'm saying? And he put it to work. Let's finish it off, all right? Let's take it back to Hebrews 11, all right? We'll finish it off with verses 12 and 13. So like,
the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 12. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable.
Right, and just remember this: that the Lord told Abraham if he were to listen to him and adhere to him and keep his laws and his commandments, that he would make his children as the sand of the sea, meaning innumerable. Because you couldn't go and pick up every grain of the sand of the sea. Listen, if you tried to go out and you tried to number every grain of the sand of the sea, you would die before you finished, before you got even a quarter of the way done, because there's so many grains of the sand of the sea. That's what the Lord was saying would happen to Abraham if he kept his commandments and if he followed him, right? And that's exactly what happened because of his faith. His children are as the sand of the sea, right? We are innumerable. Go ahead.
Verse 13. These all died in faith.
They all died in faith. Abraham died in faith. Sarah died in faith. Noah died in faith. Keep going.
Not having received the promises.
They never received the promises. Ask Abraham, of course, you can't ask him, he's dead now, but of course, ask Abraham if he received the promises while he was alive. He didn't. Right? Because why? Because the promise that was given, the covenant that was given to Abraham was that his seed, him and his seed, would rule over the other nations. Did Abraham receive that promise? He didn't receive it. He died before he could receive it. But because he had faith, he did the things that it took to receive that promise in the first place. But keep going.
But having seen them afar off.
He saw them afar off. Meaning Abraham knew it was a long time coming before he was going to get that throne, or before the Israelites was going to get that throne. They knew that.
Not only that, but the land, traveling from, unknown places.
Yeah.
It's like out of nowhere, you just die, and now your sons are continuing with that work,
right?
With that faith,
right? And Abraham knew, just like Noah knew, just like everybody that was in contact with the Most High, that when they died, that wasn't the end of them. You get what I'm saying? They was going to be They was going to be reincarnated or regenerated throughout their generations. So he knew he was going to receive the promises. You get what I'm saying? He saw them afar off, meaning he knew it was going to take time before the kingdom could be established. He knew that, right? And that was why he was willing to put in the work for that kingdom to come, which is me, which is you, which is the brothers, the sisters that are watching online, putting in the work now for a kingdom that may not come in our time. The kingdom of Christ might not come in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I hope it does. It looks like it's going to, but I couldn't say if it will or not. Even Christ doesn't know when the kingdom is going to come. But I will say that I can see it afar off. So even if I don't get to experience the kingdom, I'm still going to put in the work to build the kingdom. That's my faith. And that's the works that thereby that I'm justified with, right? It's that simple. That's what they did. And that's what we continue to do in the ISUPK. We continue to keep that same faith, right? With that, we're going to pretty much go ahead and close out. I believe that was the last scripture that I wanted to bring out. Yeah, 7 minutes to spare. Let's see. That thank you a lot. All right, I believe that's all we're going to get into. You any questions, Zach? You good?
Good, sir.
You sure? You sure? All right, no sweat. All right, with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest Officer Amatazak.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to marry. To speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21. Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashra, 10%. Of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like of holy convocation. It's like I don't got it on me right now. Do you know?
I believe it's November 28th, the Feast of Dedication.
The Feast of Dedication.
I'll get it. I can get it right now. Salaki. Give me 1 second. Salaki.
Also, too, if you want, go to isupk.com. The feasts, all the feast days are listed on our page. Just type in isupk.com, right? As well as all sorts of cookouts, right? The schedules, for the cookouts, the schedules for the feast days, and where you can find them, right? Also, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. All right. And with that, we're gonna do one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yedi Matah, class dismissed.